You know, everyone's got a favorite founding father, right? I mean, Thomas Paine's like this great figure from this era that we kind of like, we've made heroes of all these people. He was like the only one that was British born of these founding fathers. He was the poorest of them. He didn't like to like hang out in Congress and argue to these people. He wanted to write pamphlets. He wanted to write things that people could understand. That's kind of the interesting thing about this myth of a man who was the lowliest of our like founding fathers, but by far the most fascinating.
Ha! Seriously? All 75?
When Paul first approached me about doing Thomas Paine as a woman, I thought, wow, okay, that's a great idea. And then he said, and it's the spirit of Thomas Paine. And of course, you're dead.
So yeah, Joan is Thomas Paine. Joan is the spirit of Thomas Paine. And around her are these personalities in the radio control room. The violinist, the harpist, the cellist, and the pianist all play these different personalities trying to help her broadcast the message of Thomas Paine.
Compared to what we have now in so-called civilized cities, it is the practice of what has unjustly obtained the name of civilization, and the practice merits not to be called either charity or policy, to make some provisions for the persons becoming poor and wretched only at the time they become so.
I can't think of many settings of the English language in an operatic style that really work for me. I don't listen to it and think, oh yeah, that's the way English should be. When I hear Harry Partch, when I hear Robert Ashley, when I hear Kenneth Gaburo, it seems much more natural to the way that English is.
The great mass of the poor in all countries are become an hereditary race, and it is next to impossible for them to get cut of that state of themselves. It ought also to be observed that this mass increases in all countries that are called civilized. More persons fall annually into it than get out of it. More persons fall annually than into it than get out of it. More persons fall annually into it than get out of it. More persons fall annually into it than get out of it. More persons fall annually into it than get out of it. Use more words. Fuck it, I'll start again.
Throughout the piece, you'll hear everything once, and it just keeps going. A lot of text that you just hear once, so it's very hard to pick up on things. And I love that as a musical effect. I love that as a kind of like rambling text having a real musical arc.
I don't think that Paul really wants me to try to pretend to be Thomas Paine, but just that there is something about the revolutionary spirit, the incredible intellect, the bravery and bravado. I think these are essences that underlie the character.
So yeah, for a while now, I've kind of been immersed and interested in new opera, and that's probably where I'm going to stay. But this is my first like solo big project opera. Yeah, so it's terrifying and fun.